Today's workout is workout number 3 from the Progressive Strength Building Series. In this workout, we'll work for 45 seconds and rest for 15 seconds. You'll need a set of light to moderate dumbbells, potentially heavier dumbbells for lower body today. You'll also need a step or some stairs. Let's get started. Hey mamas, welcome to Progressive Strength Series workout number 3. We've got workouts 1 and 2 under our belt. Make sure you've done those before coming to this one because we're gonna build on those movements. You can increase your intensity today by adding weight, or you can stay with the same weight, and we're also gonna increase the complexity of the movements to challenge you. Starting with your heavier weights for lower body, we're gonna grab them and start with the feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. We're gonna do a deadlift with a double pulse. So we're gonna come down, 2 pulses at the bottom of the range, and then lift up. So what's the bottom range? About mid-shin or until your back is flat. Just give it a 1 or 2 inch pulse, keeping those weights close to the legs, and then keeping the core tight, back nice and straight. So you notice my spine stays long and straight. Even as I'm pulsing, my neck stays long, my chin stays tucked. Really important to master the foundation. So if you haven't quite gotten a hang of the deadlift yet, make sure to really master that before coming here, because we are gonna increase that complexity of the movement. That little pulse too. Pulses isolate the muscle group. So we're gonna do a lot more pulses in the next couple workouts to really get that muscle working more effectively. Now we're gonna do a suitcase squat. So you're gonna hold one weight in each hand, take your feet a little wider than hip distance apart. Think about picking up a suitcase. It's as simple as that. So what we're gonna do, keeping the weights in the hands, squat down like you're picking up suitcases. Although who picks up suitcases anymore? Probably not very many people. But theoretically, if you were to pick up a suitcase or grocery bags maybe, you wanna sit back and down into the hips, slight forward lean in the body, but keeping the chest lifted. So I'll show you from a side profile. Exhale on that push. That's the eccentric phase, the hard part of the exercise. We want to exhale there to fire the muscles, use our breath to tell our core what to do. It's going to help us with that exertion. Nice work. Okay, now we're moving to the step ups. This time, we're doing a lateral step up. So, one leg at a time, we're gonna start with the foot on the bench or the step, stairs, whatever you got. Push the heel down, lift up, and then lower with control back down to the floor. So same thing as the last workout. We're using the foot on the bench to give that power to the glute, the side glute specifically here with that lateral movement, and this foot on the floor, we're not pushing from there. We're pushing from here. So that way, we're not taking the momentum, we're taking the strength from the muscle. I hope I'm making sense. Sometimes when I start to get out of breath, I start to say things, I'm like, did that make sense? Use your core, use the breath to get you to the top of that. Step up. The descent is just as much as important as that lift. So we're gonna repeat that on the other side. Again, make sure you have enough space to step that additional foot up there. Drive down through the heel. Come on up. Slowly lower back down. If you can do this with control, that is really a testament to your strength. Even if it's not with weights, you might even need to try some of these a few times, especially if you're newer to exercise or haven't done these movements before. I always suggest trying them without weights, and then you can add weights as you learn the technique. You know where you do this a lot in everyday life? Getting in and out of your car. So these movements, you might not recognize it because we're obviously in a controlled setting, but in the real world, they transfer really well, because how many times a day do we get in and out of the car with bags, with all our stuff? All right, get the step out of the way. We're gonna do a lateral lunge. So staying with that lateral movement theme, you can do one weight or both. We're gonna stay on one leg the whole time. So I'm gonna start going to the left. So shift your weight into that leg, sit back into the hip, step together. So as you step out, you're stepping really wide here. Reaching for the floor, but still keeping that chest lifted, but you can see I'm hinging from the hip. Let me show you from the side here. So hinging from the hip, not rounding at the spine. You can also use just one weight, come here, or if this is easier, come here. Lots of options today. But we really want to focus on that depth. So getting deep into the hip, sitting back and stepping wide. That's what's gonna get more of that work into the glutes and hips. All right, same thing. Other side, quick shake out. The recovery is a little longer, but not enough to really get comfortable here. All right, opposite side this time. Big step out. Push that booty back. Make sure you're keeping the toes in front. Slightly turned out is okay, but you don't want to rotate the hips. You want to keep them square to the front. Again, you can drop one dumbbell, come here. Again, a forward lean is good because it helps you get that pressure in the muscle. But again, you still want to keep that chest up. So whatever's going to help you do that, whatever helps you feel the most in control. All right, now we're going to come to a kneeling row. So grab your lighter weights if you've got them. Kneeling renegade row. So we're going to alternate rowing the arms on the knees. So knees a little wider than hip distance apart. Walk them back so there's a little bit of core balance here. And then we're going to pull the weight to the hip, alternating sides. So keeping the shoulders over the wrists here. Your body weight is forward, hips are down. Now that's gonna load the core. Again, we're working on that core stability here, as well as working on strengthening the pulling muscles of the back. Now, if this is too challenging right away, you can go ahead and walk those knees in, under the hips. Alternate the rows right here. You can also body weight row. Just pull that elbow up and back. Don't go to your toes yet though, because that's coming later. We're just mastering the basic mechanics right here. Okay, now what we're gonna do is roll over onto our back. Now you can go, this is an alternating chest press. So I'm gonna go with my heavier weights because I like to do a little bit heavier for my chest. So bring your weights up over the shoulders. We're gonna drop one elbow at a time, down, and then push it up, opposite arm. Elbow comes to the floor, just slightly taps the floor, and then push up over the middle of your chest. Now remember what I said in the previous workouts. We want to keep those weights over the middle of the chest or the heart rate line rather than right over the shoulders, because that's going to help us recruit more of the chest. But in this movement, you can go heavier because you're not just recruiting the chest. You've got biceps, triceps, shoulders, upper back, everything working together. So don't shy from the heavy weights here. Again, it's all about getting close to that failure point. I'm gonna say it every time because it never gets old. We always need to be reminded what muscle we're working. We want it close to failure. Okay, we're gonna keep a chest workout, chest exercise, but we're gonna change it up. Triangle press, so starting with the weights facing each other, like you're making a triangle. Point at the top, then you're gonna bring your elbows down, wide, narrow at the top. Let's repeat that. Down, wide, narrow at the top. So the whole time here, your palms will face inward. So your dumbbells come together, making that point at the top like a triangle, and then wide at the base. Keeping the weights over the middle of your chest. This is gonna isolate the pecs more. So you're gonna feel a little bit more pressure between your armpits. And that's what we want. We wanna put that pressure on by squeezing the armpits toward the midline, right there. Those weights are definitely gonna feel heavier. We've taken some of those other muscles out of the equation so we can isolate the chest more. Good work, guys. Okay, next up, we're gonna go to a push-up. So we've done these before, but this time, we're not going from the floor. We're gonna start from the top of that push-up. So you can either do knees or toes. I'll show you both options. Hands a little wider than shoulders. Drop the chest down, take it back up. Drop chest down, take it back up. So you're going to about elbow level with the chest. And knees are a little bit wider than your hips. That's gonna help with stability, keeping everything square to the floor, keeping core braced. You can speed up, but if you find yourself, you're speeding up on the toes, get up there, get up onto the toes. Again, you know well enough now, it's not about speed, it's about that range of motion. It's about technique, and it's about challenging your body. So if you can, on the toes, but stay with that strong range, elbow level, keep the body weight forward. We don't want to shift too far back or lift the hips here. Keeping that work in the core and the chest. Now, we're going back onto our back. Grab your lighter weights. This is a diamond press. So keep your weights now glued together. Just like the tricep press, we're going to take those weights down to the lower ribs, elbows in. Extend them up over the shoulders now. So down, lower ribs, over the shoulders. So elbows are really, really close. Keeping the weights glued together will make it feel heavier, but also take out some of the instability of working the arms individually. So if you need to, you can always drop one weight. Again, isolating those triceps, working those smaller muscle groups here, but working on pressing strength, pushing strength, so important. Okay, now we're gonna go to a kneeling tricep extension. So on your knees, grab one of your weights this time, or two lighter weights. I'll show you both options. Knees under hips, weight comes up over the shoulders. We're gonna take that weight back and down to the base of the neck, and then extend the arms upward over the shoulders here. So just like I've mentioned in previous workouts, when you're in this kneeling position, don't clench your butt, don't grip through your abs, just relax, gentle brace through the core. We don't want too much squeeze in the glutes. Now we want good posture here, so making sure chest is up, shoulders are back and down here, and then extend. Now you can also do two weights. Might be a little too heavy, but you can try. You'll take them to the base of the neck and then lift. If you got lighter weights, that's a good option. For me, it was too heavy to do that the whole time, but just wanted to show you the option. All right, take one of your weights now. We're gonna go to a tricep kickback. So we're gonna be on the knees here. Knees, walk them back to add that pressure to the core. Hand under shoulder, take that dumbbell up, extend it back, bend, and tap the floor. So it's up, back, bend, tap the floor. Now this is a difficult movement because it's a single arm movement and we're only doing one at a time, of course. So you might find that you need a lighter weight, even lighter than you've used so far, because this is gonna be, again, the smallest muscle that we've worked, and it's a single arm move. So maybe that's something you need to drop a weight for, maybe even practicing here with a kickback, or bring the knees in. That's gonna help a little bit, but really just decreasing that weight or decreasing the time interval will help. All right, same thing, other side. We're almost there, you guys. So walking those knees back, shifting the body weight forward, that's gonna add that little core component too. So we're not just working the tricep, although that's our focus. So that's the thing we wanna do here, is adding a little bit of complexity by working more muscle groups together, but still keeping that initial focus of that one muscle group. So here, I don't want you to think how hard are your abs working, I want you to think how hard are your triceps working. So if you feel like, man, my core's working really hard, but I can't get that weight up, then step it in, bring the knees in under the hips here. Or again, decrease the time interval. There's no shame in that. These are hard, this is at the very end. So it's normal to kind of lose a little bit of that technique and need to stop. I know I'm there too. Close to failure though, that's what we're aiming for every time, right? If you're there, you're there. That's a success. That is where I want you to be. That's what I want you to hit. That is always the goal. If you fail, you get stronger. Wide bicep curl. Turn your dumbbells, palms up. We're gonna take them wide, so take them out and then down. So make a big arc, taking them to the outside of the shoulders, or the side of the shoulders really. Hit the legs every time. Get that full range of motion. Keeping the glutes relaxed, core just gently engaged. So our last one, you guys. This workout has been a beast. And we're only gonna get more complex, more challenging from here. But again, you have so many options to make it at your level. So you can always play around with the weights. We did it. Play around with the weights, play around with the resistance you're using, whether that's a smaller or bigger step, lighter or heavier weights, shorter or longer time intervals. There's so many ways you can change up these workouts to make them work for you. Where you're at, even day by day, you might find things are a little bit different in your body, and that is perfectly okay. It's all about respecting your body, but challenging it appropriately to where you're at. And we're gonna keep doing that together. So like and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments where you're at so far, what you're thinking about the exercises, and I will see you back here for workout number 4.